Hello, Internet. It is Scott Payne, and we are live to go through hard PMP questions together, talk it through, and teach you everything you need to know to get your PMP. No, I'm the dude that runs PMmasterPrep. I'm here to help you. And what we're going to do today is going to get you down the road for PMP. So as we go through, if you haven't subscribed and got notification bell, click bing, ding, and go ahead and do that right now so that you can get told, hey, yo, it's time to show up. Scott's going live and going to teach you stuff. And if you want to get on board with the most successful PMP program in the history of PMP programs, this one, then you should go in right now to PMmasterPrep.com. We have the highest PMP pass rate in history, right? For large scales of people. We are at a 98.9% pass rate for the new PMP exam, and it's only going up. So everybody else says they're 99%. We actually are, which is cool. And the reason why is because we go through this detailed process of solving problems and making things easy. All right. So this week, let's do something fun. Let's start going through some questions. All right. So when we solve questions, let me pull it up. Boom, fancy pants. All right. So when we solve questions, we have to think in a super duper logical way. All right. So when you go through, there are a lot of mistakes that people make when they solve questions. And the number one reason why people fail questions is they go too fast. They try to outthink the room. They try to race through the questions and solve them. And they're just like somebody's watching them and going to judge them, and they're scared they're going to miss it. So don't make that mistake. What I want you to do, and the smartest, best students do this, is that they slow down, they think methodically, and they solve questions with purpose. All right. So that is what we're going to do. Which way do I look? I look over here. Sweet. I look over here. So the first thing we want to do on any question is we want to align ourselves with what it's asking. There is no reason to solve a question if you don't know what the heck you're looking for, right? So what we do is read the last sentence. Let's do it together. All right. So what can the project manager do to avoid this problem on future projects? All right. So don't glance over that and just go boo, 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 whatever. Slow down and say, all right, so we've had a problem. What can we do to make sure that we don't have this problem in the future? Now, the natural inclination that people go is they always try to decide like, oh, what am I going to do to fix the problem now? If we took that approach, we would probably get this question wrong right off the bat. So by reading the last sentence, guys, we have prepared ourselves to potentially get it correct because we know we're setting ourselves up. So what are we going to do different next time? Meaning we screwed it up this time. It's the way it goes. So what we do is we align. We know that. Number two is understand. That means go back to the top of the question, read it nice, easily, slowly, out loud to see what issues you have or what issue you want to ask yourself. What kind of project is this? Waterfall, agile, hybrid. What's the situation? What's the context? What matters? And most importantly, what's the issue? What's the rub? What's the problem? What are we solving for? A lot of times, this is just like what you do in real life. You walk into a project room, right? There's a meeting. You look around there and you say, like, what am I trying to accomplish? Right? That's what we do, align. Then you read the room. Oh, people are slumped down. Nobody's looking at each other. They're typing. Somebody's got a scowl on their face. You're like, oh, shit. What happened here? You're reading the room. And I see that there are a bunch of people in the chat. Why don't you put your names in the chat? Say, what's up? Say, one thing in PMP world that worries you, whether it's like, yo, I can't solve questions fast enough. Like, I'm worried that I'm going to fail. Like, I don't know exactly what to study. I don't know if I'm studying the right stuff. I can't get my scores up. Whatever it is, I don't know the specific topic. Go into the chat, please, and tell me what you're worried about, and I will go and answer them. So right there. All right. So we said we're understanding. So let me go and read it for the people that are here. It says, project manager implemented an approved change to manage a risk. Okay. So we did something. 3 months after the implemented change, the project manager learns that the change did not produce the desired result, and there are adverse consequences. Oh no, my friends. So what did we do here? Let's understand this as I pull the pen up. It said, understand. So what do? We have an approved change. Okay, to react to a risk. So that's a good thing. It's a justified action. We know that. They said after a long time, 3 months after you implemented the change, the project manager learns that the change did not produce the desired result. Oh no. 3 months later, we figured this out. And to make it worse, it made things worse. It had adverse consequences. So this is double bad. So if we think back to the question that we had, what we're aligning ourselves to, we don't want this issue to happen again. Now, let me ask you, is the issue that we're trying to solve, is it that we had a risk and we didn't solve it and then didn't solve? Is that the problem that we're trying to prevent? Or is it that we had a risk, we put in a solution, and it took forever to find out if it actually works? Which one of those is it? Because in the first one, it's like, we have to find a smarter solution. That's reasonable. That's like a point solution. The second one is like, we have to find a better mechanism to make sure that whatever we do, any risk response, any change, that we actually figure out if it's the right thing and it actually worked. Now, in reality, most people pick this one. We got to find a better way to do the solve for this risk. Wrong. What this is saying is, systematically, we got to figure out if, or how we are monitoring and assessing the success of the things that we implement. That's genius. And if you want to put down below, pause the video, what process group is entirely set up to do this for you? Like that's where that happens. That's the monitoring and controlling process group. We do things, we implement stuff, we execute, we got to go check. That's the dance between executing and monitoring and controlling. It happens all the time. So this question is asking us all about that. So we understand it. Now I jumped into 3, assert. So what are we going to do on a future project? I don't care what the answers say. I care what's up here. All right. So we know we implemented a proper response. It didn't work, but the crux was we didn't check on it. It's been 3 months. We find out it didn't work and it festered. Oh God. You know who that's on? Us. It's our fault. All right. So we did not follow the monitoring control philosophy well. So what are we going to do next time? It ain't rocket surgery. We're going to implement something and we're going to check. It's like plant a seed, look tomorrow. Is it growing? Oh, it's growing. It's growing. It's growing. It's falling over. I don't want to find it 2 months later. Oh, the plant fell over. No. While it grows, I want to watch. I want to see. That's what we're doing here. All right. So that's what we're doing. Okay. I've asserted. Now let me evaluate my answers. All right. Now, what I'm doing right now is I'm going to go to each one of them. So number 1, do I like it? I want to ask myself 2 things or a couple things. All right. Number 1, is it a valid answer? Is it valid? Like, is it break the rules of project management? If it does, then I don't care what it says. Goodbye. Or if it's valid, we can go on. And secondly, does it solve the problem? Does it actually solve? I need to say problem. Those are 2 lenses to look through. I got thousands of lenses, bro, to look through. Does it solve the problem? So let's look at it. Would we revisit or change existing assumptions after reviewing the assumptions log? I mean, would that prevent it in the future by revisiting or changing the existing assumptions? I don't think so. I mean, was the assumptions the issue? No, it was the fact that we didn't stick to our guns. Now, is it a valid thing to check your assumptions? Sure. So yeah, it passes step 1, but does it solve the problem? No. Goodbye. Adios. B, update the lessons learned register with risk information. A lot of people, and I bet you, picked this one. Did you not? Right? As you went through it, I should have given you a chance. Next time I will. But a lot of people pick B because they're like, oh, we learned something because we didn't do things on this risk. We didn't implement the right response, whatever. I'm going to go and update the lesson learned. No, that's a good thing to do, obviously. But is it going to guarantee us or increase our odds of not having this problem in the future? No, it's not. Because what we need to do is check at a more frequent rate. right? That's what we're doing. So updating the lesson learned, while we need to do it in here and it is valid, it's not going to solve the problem. So bye-bye. C is follow up to verify that a risk response is performing as expected. Does that sound a lot like what we thought in our own brain? Of course it does, right? That's what we want to do. And this is what monitoring controlling is all about. That whole big process group, all those processes, look at them. They're the same. Control this, monitor this. What they're saying is, yo, when you do something, when you implement it, you might want to verify. You might want to check. You might want to look into it. Trust, but verify. So go and check it out. So yes, I love this. Smiley face, Now let's go to D, because who knows? D might be double smiley face. It says update the probability and impact matrix. All right, we'll talk about what that is after assessing any new risks. Let's take one at a time. What's that probability and impact matrix thing? When do we do that? Well, we started in planning, right? When we do answer down below, qualitative or quantitative risk analysis. Which one? Qualitative, right? Because we're evaluating the probability and the impact. Probability, impact, and each risk that we have will fall somewhere on here, and it helps us prioritize or quartile all our issues or risks and say, these are the ones we really need to focus on, followed by these, lastly, these. All right, because these are high and high probability and impact. Now it says update the probability and impact matrix after assessing new risks. Well, of course we're going to do this stuff. This is valid action, but does it relate to the question at hand? No, it's not the fact that we didn't have the probability and impact, defined correctly. It's not that we missed risks. No, it's that we didn't check. So while it is a relatively reasonable thing to do in the risk world, it ain't the thing that we want to do now. So what we do is we decide. We've already decided. Boom, we like C. I love C. Let's go to the bottom one, and we figure out what to improve. So let's check our answers right now. Boom, follow up to verify that a risk response is expected. So that's what we want to do right there. And I've beat this horse, and I'm going to continue to beat it. So let's go one more time. How do we improve? Well, one thing you can realize is that Uncle Scott just told you that monitoring and controlling that process group is all about what? It's all about verifying. It's all about checking. It's all about looking at the things that we're doing from executing and saying, did it work like we planned? There's a back and forth here, okay? As soon as you start executing, boom. You know what also starts? Monitoring, controlling. Because what does someone always ask you? Yo, you started a project, how's it going? You started it, how's it going? So we need to have an answer. We need to look at it across all the different knowledge areas. How's our communication going? How's our engagement going? How's our cost performance going? How's our schedule performance going? How's all these things going? That's why EVM exists, because we put a mathematical measure against it. Now, if you want to just simplify all these processes, you just say, yo, I'm going to look at the data. I'm going to analyze it in a bunch of different ways, logical ways. Hey, is there a trend up and down? Hey, are there root cause issues? Whatever all these things we want to. Is there a variance off where we thought we would be? Look at the analysis technique and say, why would I use that question? What would be the driving question that would have me use that analysis technique? And then from that, data comes in, we do some kind of magic analysis on it, and then boop, pops out a realization. They call that work performance information. Just like we realize something, either we're in trouble or we're not. And if we're in trouble, most likely going to have to do a change request. That's the way it goes. And so the cycle continues. So that's how we learn from that question. Hopefully you liked it. Let's do one more. How about that? You fun with that? Back to the beginning. You know what we do first. And in this question, I walked you through. I want you, as I go through here, to stop the video later. Like we're live, so you can't stop the video now. If you're live, chat in, what's up? And so go through, pause it, answer the question when I tell you to. Super important. All right. So here we go. What do we do first? Align. Read the last sentence. Which action should the project manager take? Okay, so it's going to give us a bevy of choices. What are we doing now? We have a situation. What are we doing now? Not looking back, not next time, right now. Sweet. Let's go to 2. Understand. Let's read it, think about it, understand it. A project has the following characteristics. Cool. To determine what a product should be created, a feasibility study has been conducted, past tense. What's a feasibility study? Well, it says like basically, can we do the thing that we want to do? Like, is it possible? Do we have the skills, know-how, resources, funding, chutzpah to get it done? So, okay, we did that. Sweet. A change request has now been approved to develop another product that contradicts the original requirement. Oh no. So we did all this work to figure out if we can do it. And these powers that be said, you know what? We're approving something and we're changing it. We know better. We're going to change it. Okay, it happens. Data analysis was conducted before the change request was approved. All right, so it's providing some context to say they didn't make this just willy-nilly. They did some thinking. They did some data analysis. Okay, cool. Which action should the project manager take? So we understand it a little bit. We understand the context. Let's go into 3. Asserting, like, what will we do? Well, we have some decisions. So what it's saying is we did some deep thinking beforehand. Feasibility study, we got ready, and now there's a change. Boom. There's a change, that little symbol for change. And we have a decision. We can either go, I disagree, man. I'm not going to do it. I disagree, and I'm not going to make the change because you as the project manager know what's best. So I'm going to say disagree and don't do it. That's one. That's one option. The second one is follow the rules. Just do it. They approved it. Or the third one you might say is, all right, I'll do it. But seems like we did this feasibility study. We did some other stuff. I want to look into it myself. And if I agree with it, sweet, we'll do it. If I don't agree with it, we won't do it. So look into it. Do analysis. So if you're out there in TV land, when you know this problem right here, pause it and you live type in, what would you do? Which one of these? Don't look at the answer. Who cares? Like, would you go in which path would you take? So take 5 seconds, write your answer in the chat below, get better. It's important that you assert what you think. It's the only way you're going to learn. That's about 5 seconds. Fancy as it is. All right. So what do you think? Which one of these would you do? Well, A. Robert says A. He says execute the change request. All right, cool. So we'll go through it. Thank you, Robert. And so we're going to go to the next one and we're going to say evaluate the answers. And I just went blank. I lost my camera. Let's see if it's on the first one. Now I'm back. I'm going to be going, I think A, Daniel says. Awesome, dude. Thank you for the participation. So as we go through here, when we have, we're going to evaluate and decide, all right? Because I lost my video right there. No big deal. When we think through these options, we have to realize where we are in the project, if we have a baseline, if we don't. Now, in this one, we have a baseline because we did a change request. It's a waterfall project because we're doing with change requests. Anytime the change request is approved, unless it's like pour, chemicals in the well, then we're going to do it. All right. If it's a valid legal action, we're going to do it. So executing the change request means we're just going to do it. That's what we need to do. We need to go and do it. All right. So Robert and Daniel, you're correct. Yes, sir. Good job. The second thing, so we'll just go through them all. Decline it. Now, a lot of you out there in TV land might say like, yo, they didn't do the right thinking. They didn't do the feasibility study. I just don't feel good about this. I'm the guy that's next going to roll or going to get cut if I mess this up. I need to go and decline it and think for myself. Sorry, that's not the way it goes. Change request board, CCB exists for a reason. That's what they're here to do. Okay. So if they do it, you cannot decline it. It is not within your responsibility or your authority to do it. Would it be okay? Melody asks, would it be okay to ask for data analysis? Tell me, Melody. Like, okay, so you ask for the data analysis, Melody, she asks in the chat. All right, they give it to you. Sweet. Somebody hands it to you. Like, ask for a detailed report for data analysis. So, Melody, love the question. Once they give it to you, let's say you don't like what you see on there. What you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? What's the next thing? So, Melody, tell me what you're going to do next. You don't like it. You don't like what you find. What do you do after that? Oh, wait. Tell me. What would you do? I like it more when we're live so that I can talk to somebody and read the room. All right. So here's the thing while she writes in there, like a lot of people say, hey, can I ask for the data analysis? Well, it's in the change request. You can go look at it. It's not like privy. That would point going to option A. You'd do it like, yeah, you'd look at it and then you'd say, if I like it, a good A. But in reality, if you like it and you don't like it, you're still executing. So sure, you can go look at it. But if you want to be, expeditious about this, you can just go execute it because that's what you need to do. That's your role. So asking for the details wouldn't be there. You are a soldier at this point, leading troops. And so you're going through and you're executing on it. So no, you would not ask for the data analysis right there. It's available. You can go look at it, but it wouldn't make a difference. Yeah, I am new to this. No big deal, Melly. You're killing it. I love it. And you asked the question. That's the most important thing. Most people don't ask questions. And lastly, ask for a feasibility study. Same vein as the previous one. And so as we get into this, it's like, what is your role versus the change control board? What we see is that some diligent thought has been put into the change, data analysis, those things. They made the decision. So what happens if you execute it and it doesn't go well? Well, that's the way the world works, right? We just did this previous question and we saw that like, hey, man, we did this risk response. We did it. It didn't work. Yeah, that happens. So if the best fit solution that we have is this change request, if we go out there and implement it, it doesn't work, what are we going to do? We're going to say, hey, it didn't work. This is what we think we ought to do now. We got to go this other direction or tweak it or whatever. Then we go through the change control process, get it approved again. The better world would exist because we make a better decision. Boom, we try it again. And you know what? It probably won't be a perfect solution either. We just keep getting better as we go through the cycle. All right, that's the world. But we have to follow through and understand our role in the game. That's beautiful. So let's see what the answer is. It's scary. Yes, execute. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, so that is the question right there. Melody, why don't you do me a favor, or anybody? I have coaching calls after this, like in a couple minutes, if I can find my mouse. And why don't you guys come? Like, all you got to do is send me an email at scott@PMmasterPrep.com and say, hey, I want to come to the coaching call tonight. We go through questions like this in depth. We talk it out. And it's not me working through a chat. It's me talking to you. So, Melody, you cool? You want to go to a call? No obligation, no nothing. Just going to learn. I know you're new. The best place to learn is to talk it through. Robert's going to be there. So shoot me an email right now. All right. So cool. That is all the questions that we're going to do tonight. Do you guys have any questions? We just want to have a quick one right now. We're going to do this every week. And if you want to talk to me, if you want to go through questions live, all you got to do, I do them every week, multiple times. Hey, Scott, I love your podcast. My first time tuning in line. Daniel, why don't you come to the coaching call tonight? Is that cool? I'm glad you like the podcast. You should come to the coaching call, dude. Scott at PMmasterPrep, just email me, and I'd love to add you. And so I'm waiting. That's cool. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to log off. I'm going to go get a glass of water, fill it up, solve questions. So if you can learn anything from this call, first thing is solve problems with a disciplined process. Slow down, think, talk it out, spend the time to squeeze all the learning from the question that you possibly can. Speed comes through a disciplined process, not through taking a bajillion questions. Anybody who tells that doesn't know what they're talking about. Okay? So I can't make the coaching call, but maybe another time. Daniel, email me anyway. I'll give you something extra to help you, dude. I got some extra stuff, little videos, little templates, stuff like that. So email me. I'll hook you up. Same thing with Melody or anybody out there in the Etherland that's doing it. So pumped to talk to you again. Really glad you like the podcast. Share it, all that stuff so we can help more people. Email me. I'll help you out. Adios, muchachos and muchachas, if that's the way to say it. See you later. Email me, Scott at PMmasterPrep. Adios.